The galaxy had rules, ancient rules, written long before humanity had even learned how to shape metal or name the stars. Rules forged by empires that rose and fell so long ago that their names had turned to dust in forgotten archives. Among those rules, one stood above all others. No primitive world was ever to be met with force. First contact was sacred. Diplomacy came first, observation second, intervention last, and punishment was reserved only for those who dared to resist the galactic order. That was the code, and humanity was about to break it without even knowing it existed. In the heart of known space, suspended between dimensions and wrapped in artificial gravity fields, floated the Galactic Conclave, a colossal structure the size of a small moon. Its interior chamber was a cathedral of alien design, filled with layered platforms, hovering thrones, and translucent walkways where beings of every imaginable shape gathered. Some breathed methane, some pulsed with bioluminescent light, others communicated through subtle vibrations in the air, but all of them shared one thing in common: confidence. They were the rulers of the galaxy, and today's agenda was trivial. A newly discovered species, carbon-based, bipedal, technologically noisy, but strategically insignificant. Designation: Terra, announced the Central Intelligence Node, its voice echoing calmly through the chamber. Local name: Earth. A hologram ignited in the center of the hall, a small blue planet, rotating slowly, fragile and beautiful against the darkness of space. Lines of alien data wrapped around it, translating its atmosphere, its population, its weapons. Laughter rippled across the chamber. Still divided into nation-states, one delegate remarked, its elongated eyes narrowing with amusement. They fight each other more than they prepare for the stars, another added. A charming species, said a third. Violent but disorganized. They will grow out of it. The conclave had seen this pattern thousands of times. Primitive civilizations always followed the same path: conflict, fear, unity, then submission. They either joined the galactic system peacefully or were quietly erased from history when they became inconvenient. Earth, they decided, would be easy. The diplomatic fleet was assembled not for war, but for demonstration. Sleek vessels of white and gold alloy, their hulls glowing with advanced energy fields, formed a formation designed to inspire awe rather than fear. Their weapons remained dormant, their shields barely active. Why bother? Earth had no faster-than-light travel, no unified planetary defense, no understanding of what was coming. As the fleet slipped into hyperspace, bound for the Sol system, the conclave turned its attention elsewhere. There were trade disputes to resolve, border skirmishes between minor powers. Earth was already considered handled. But far away, on a small blue world orbiting an average yellow star, something very different was happening. Earth had been watching. For decades, humanity's scientists had detected anomalies, signals that didn't match natural phenomena, objects that vanished from sensors without explanation, distortions in space that defied known physics. They had argued, theorized, dismissed, and debated. Governments denied it, media mocked it, but deep beneath mountains, oceans, and deserts, others prepared. Humanity did not announce itself loudly to the universe. It listened. And when the alien fleet entered the outer edge of the solar system, humanity did not panic. There was no global broadcast, no screaming headlines, no emergency summit. Instead, there was silence. In hidden command centers scattered across the planet, calm voices spoke in measured tones. Data flowed. Old protocols, some written generations earlier, were quietly activated. Satellites that had been dead for years adjusted their orbit. Deep space telescopes shifted focus. Dark objects hidden near the moon began to move. On the bridge of the alien flagship, confusion crept in. "Why are there no transmissions?" one officer asked. "No panic signals detected," another reported. "No military response," said a third. "They are quiet." The commander frowned. That was unusual.
Primitive worlds usually screamed into the void at the first sign of contact. They begged, they threatened, they prayed. Earth did none of those things. Then the moon changed. Panels across its surface slid open, revealing structures that had never appeared in any alien scan. Massive rail cannons emerged from ancient-looking craters, their design brutal, utilitarian, and unmistakably military. Power surged through them, ancient reactors awakening like sleeping giants. Mars followed. Beneath its red dust, shipyards unfolded, vast mechanical skeletons rotating into position as human warships powered up for the first time in decades. Their hulls bore scars, not from alien wars, but from humanity's own history. These were ships built not for conquest, but survival. The alien fleet halted. "This is impossible," an officer whispered. "Our scans showed no such installations." The human response finally came, not as a greeting, not as a plea, but as a single, clean transmission. No threats, no explanations, just coordinates and a timestamp. The alien commander stared at the display. "What does it mean?" he asked. Before anyone could answer, space itself seemed to tighten. Human ships emerged from hyperspace, not in front of the alien fleet, but around it, above, below, behind. Hundreds of them, then thousands. Different designs, different eras, some old, some new, all armed. The galaxy had expected diplomats. Earth had sent soldiers. Inside one of the human command vessels, a man stood silently, his uniform worn, his insignia faded. He watched the alien fleet through a reinforced viewport, his expression unreadable. "They came confident," someone said behind him. "They always do," he replied calmly. On the alien flagship, alarms finally screamed. Weapons powered up in panic, shields flared, orders were shouted. But before a single shot could be fired, a human vessel moved forward, slowly, deliberately. Another transmission was sent. This time, it carried a voice. It was calm, it was steady, and it carried the weight of a species that had survived itself. "This system is under human protection," the voice said. "You have entered without permission. You will stand down." The alien commander felt something unfamiliar twist in his core. Fear. Because in that moment, the galaxy realized something it had never considered before. Humanity had not reached the stars looking for friends. Humanity had reached them, ready for war. And this was only the beginning.
The galaxy had fought wars before, endless wars, wars of territory, ideology, resources, and pride. But every war followed rules, patterns refined over millions of years. Fleets postured, shields clashed, casualties were measured, surrenders were negotiated. Even destruction was civilized. What the galaxy had never faced was a species that had learned war the hard way. On the alien flagship, panic spread like a contagion. Tactical displays updated faster than commanders could process them. Human ships held perfect formation, their movements precise, disciplined, almost unnervingly calm. They did not rush, they did not threaten, they simply waited. "That's a trap," one alien officer hissed. "No species deploys this much force without firing." But humanity had learned something long before it ever left Earth's gravity well. The first strike is not about damage, it is about meaning. The alien commander made his decision. "Fire a warning volley," he ordered. "Minimal yield." The dreadnought's primary weapon charged, energy coiling like a miniature star at its core. A beam of blinding light tore through space toward the nearest human vessel, fast, precise, lethal. It never arrived. Space bent. The beam twisted, fractured, and dissolved as if swallowed by an invisible hand. A ripple passed through the void, subtle but unmistakable. Human defensive technology, ancient and refined, absorbed the attack without effort. Silence followed. Then every human ship powered its weapons at once, not firing, just charging. The energy output lit the darkness like a false sunrise. On alien bridges across the fleet, fear finally took hold. Some crews froze,
Others shouted conflicting orders. The galaxy's greatest armada, designed to intimidate civilizations into obedience, had never faced a force that didn't care about intimidation. Another transmission came from the human flagship. "We ask you to stand down," the voice said. "You chose to test us." Human ships moved, not forward, not aggressively. They closed the circle. The alien fleet found itself surrounded on every vector, escape routes cut off with surgical precision. Hyperspace lanes collapsed under human interference fields. Communication signals jammed, isolated, dissected. Then came the drop pods. From the bellies of human warships, thousands of armored capsules launched into space, accelerating toward alien vessels like falling stars. Inside each pod, human soldiers braced silently. No speeches, no chants, no fear on their faces, just focus. They had trained for this moment for generations. When the pods hit, they did not bounce or burn, they bit. Explosive charges detonated, tearing through alien hulls with brutal efficiency. Human soldiers poured into corridors never meant for their kind, too narrow, too curved, too alien. And yet, they adapted instantly. Close quarters combat erupted in zero gravity. Alien defenders fired plasma weapons wildly, their movements chaotic, uncoordinated. Human soldiers moved like machines with souls, covering each other, advancing methodically, dragging wounded comrades forward instead of retreating. One soldier took a plasma bolt to the chest, armor burning, systems screaming. He did not fall. He grabbed the alien who fired it and pulled them both into the wall, detonating a charge that sealed the corridor behind him. Another soldier lost her weapon and used her body instead, slamming into an alien twice her size, driving a blade into a joint the enemy didn't know was vulnerable. This was not conquest. This was discipline forged by desperation. On the alien flagship, the situation collapsed rapidly. Aborting alerts flooded the command deck. Entire sections of the ship went dark. Internal sensors failed one by one. The commander watched in horror as human units advanced relentlessly, ignoring losses that would have broken any other species. "Why won't they retreat?" an officer cried. "They're outnumbered." The commander finally understood. Humans did not fight to win battles. They fought to end wars. Across the galaxy, the shock waves spread. Distant systems detected the conflict. Human energy signatures unlike anything on record. Alien fleets vanishing or going silent. Emergency councils convened. Intelligence networks scrambled for answers. "This species was categorized as pre-FTL," one analyst stammered. "They hid everything," another whispered. "All of it." Ancient records were opened, forbidden archives unlocked. Civilizations long erased from memory were re-examined, and a chilling pattern emerged. Every species that had ever underestimated a violent, divided world had paid the price. On Earth, billions watched nothing at all. The skies remained calm, cities slept, life continued. Humanity did not need to witness this war to understand it. They had lived it already. On the alien flagship, the final transmission arrived. The human commander appeared on screen, his face half lit by the glow of burning consoles. "You came to judge us," he said, "to measure us, to decide our place." He paused, letting the silence stretch. "We learned long ago that survival isn't granted by councils or codes, it's taken." The alien commander tried to speak, to negotiate, to invoke ancient laws. The human cut him off. "You wanted diplomats," he said quietly. "You got soldiers." The flagship's core destabilized moments later. Human boarding teams withdrew with precision, leaving behind a ship that once symbolized galactic authority. As the humans pulled back, the vessel collapsed inward, consumed by its own failing systems. The explosion lit the void, and across the galaxy, one truth became undeniable. Humanity was not joining the galactic order. Humanity was rewriting it.
The destruction of the alien flagship did not echo through space alone. It echoed through every government, every empire, every species that had once believed the galaxy belonged to them. Long-range sensors confirmed the impossible. The fleet that had enforced galactic order for millennia was gone. Not defeated in a glorious war, not dismantled through diplomacy.
It had been removed, cleanly, decisively, without hesitation. Human ships did not pursue fleeing alien vessels. They did not chase survivors or broadcast threats. They simply reformed their formations and held position, silent and unmoving, like a verdict already delivered. That silence terrified the galaxy more than any weapon ever could. Emergency sessions erupted across the stars. Councils that had not convened in centuries now met in panic. Species who had once mocked humanity's slow rise suddenly questioned every assumption they had ever made. They didn't conquer, one elder whispered. They demonstrated. Observers replayed the battle footage frame by frame. Every maneuver, every strike, every withdrawal followed a logic the galaxy had never seen before. Humans did not fight emotionally, yet emotion drove them. They did not fight recklessly, yet they accepted losses without pause. This was not the war doctrine of a predator. It was the doctrine of a species that had nearly destroyed itself and learned from it. Ancient historians began drawing parallels no one wanted to acknowledge. Every major extinction event in galactic history shared a common detail. A powerful civilization had dismissed a violent, fractured world as primitive. Humanity fit the pattern perfectly, except for one difference. Humans remembered their past. On Earth, military command received confirmation that the alien fleet had withdrawn from human space entirely. No celebrations followed, no parades were planned, no speeches were made to rally pride. The soldiers simply removed their armor. For them, this was not victory, it was closure. They had not gone to the stars to prove superiority. They had gone to ensure that no one else would ever decide humanity's fate again. The Galactic Council, what remained of it, issued a formal transmission to Earth. This time, there were no demands, no ultimatums, no condescension. Humanity of Earth, the speaker said carefully, their voice trembling despite centuries of political training. We acknowledge your strength. We request dialogue. The reply came hours later. It was not from a diplomat, it was from a soldier. We are willing to talk, but understand this first. He looked directly into the camera, into the eyes of 1,000 watching species. We do not seek control of the galaxy. We seek balance, and we will enforce it. The message ended. Across the galaxy, military doctrines were rewritten overnight. Fleets once designed for intimidation were redesigned for defense. Border incursions ceased. Expansionist campaigns were abandoned mid-operation. No one wanted to be next. Humanity did not occupy alien worlds. They did not install governors or claim tribute. Instead, they did something far more unsettling. They intervened. When a powerful empire moved to enslave a weaker species, human ships appeared without warning. When genocidal campaigns were planned in secret, human intelligence networks exposed them publicly. When ancient powers attempted to silence dissent through force, human soldiers arrived, not to conquer, but to stop them. Always professionally, always decisively, always without apology. The galaxy learned a new rule, unspoken but absolute. If you abuse your power, humanity will answer. Alien philosophers struggled to understand it. Humans were capable of unimaginable violence, yet they restrained themselves. They could dominate the stars, yet they chose limits. That contradiction unsettled every civilization that encountered them. An alien scholar finally articulated the truth in a forbidden archive. Humanity is dangerous not because they enjoy war. They are dangerous because they understand its cost and are willing to pay it. Years passed, then decades. Humanity became a myth told in hushed tones and classified briefings. New species were warned of them during first contact training. If they send diplomats, you are safe. If they send soldiers, you have already failed. Yet, when crises threatened the galaxy's survival, rogue AI swarms, extra-dimensional incursions, stellar plagues, it was humanity that responded first, not with fear, with resolve. In the darkest hour the galaxy had ever known, when ancient horrors emerged from beyond known space, it was Earth's army that stood at the front lines. Human soldiers fought and fell beside species that had once considered them insignificant. And when the war was over, when the threat was erased from existence, humanity did not demand recognition. They returned home. The galaxy never forgot that moment. They had expected diplomats, soft voices, fragile agreements, weakness disguised as peace. Instead, they met soldiers, not conquerors, not tyrants, but guardians forged by fire, tempered by loss, and driven by a simple, terrifying truth. Humanity does not want to rule the galaxy. Humanity wants to make sure no one else will ever have to beg for survival again. And that is why, when humans speak, the galaxy listens.